But St. Paul's has always been more than just a church. At times, it has changed the way we think as a nation. Less than 2 months before Churchill's funeral, St. Paul's hosted a surprising guest preacher, one of the most important figures of the 20th century, a man who changed the way we think about human rights, Martin Luther King.
Now is the time to make justice a reality all over this nation. Now is the time.
On the 6th of December 1964, 4,000 people arrived at St. Paul's to hear Martin Luther King give a guest sermon. All the seats in the building would soon be taken, and hundreds would stand in the aisles.
When Martin Luther King came to St. Paul's, I mean, he was a hot ticket. It was standing room only, because people knew of the things that he'd been doing in America.
Among the congregation was 16-year-old Garth Hewitt.
There were crowds. I mean, it was full. I got the sense it was very important for people to see him. That's why they were there. That's why they'd made the effort to be there.
He was a celebrity. People wanted to see what all of the fuss was about.
King preached a message that America wasn't always ready to hear, that everyone should be equal whatever their race. He'd been arrested and jailed numerous times. It was a bold move for St. Paul's to invite such a radical figure, particularly as race was also a controversial issue in the UK.
What you have to remember about 1964 is that this was an era of the signs outside houses saying, you know, no blacks, no Irish, no dogs. So these were really, really difficult times.
A hush fell on the crowd as Martin Luther King stepped up to the pulpit.
So he climbed the steps at St. Paul's very slowly. And he gave his sermon very deliberately in that very defined southern drawl. And people were absolutely entranced by it.
For me, when he suddenly was there in the pulpit, which is quite high in St. Paul's, it was a powerful moment.
The sermon that King delivered would deeply move all who heard it.
He was speaking quite slowly. Yeah, and he got me. And he kept that rhythm going, I think. You know, I've heard a lot of sermons. There's very few I can quote like I can quote his, and we're going back an awfully long time. So I think he had that impact, that resonance in his voice.
When the service was finished, King walked to the cathedral's chapter house to speak to the